First, let's look at the top stories making headlines. President Advocate Duma Boko addressing the nation. President of the Republic of India undertakes a state visit to Botswana. Dr. Dikoloti, CEDA's A-Di-Tsale launch marks a new dawn for Botswana's livestock sector. Welcome to Lesedi Television News. I am Molefe. President of the Republic of Botswana, Duma Boko, held a State of the Nation address on 10th November 2025. In his address, Advocate Boko emphasized that NDP 12 and the associated Botswana Economic Transformation Program form the master plan for diversifying Botswana's economy away from its heavy reliance on diamonds and towards a high-income, digitally enabled, export-driven future. The plan's theme is building a diversified and inclusive deep economy for sustainable jobs, which embeds the idea that diversification must also be inclusive, benefiting all Botswana, not just a few.
The government engaged in a rigorous process to develop the 12th National Development Plan, NDP 12. NDP 12 emphasizes inclusive growth built through a private sector-led economy. It buttresses ambitions that refocus the development process to drive towards our true north, a definition of our core principles and enduring ideals of our government for a high-income Botswana that is digitally enabled, export-driven, and economically diversified, where every citizen is employed, empowered, and fulfilled. A key driver of NDP 12 emphasizes economic diversification, job creation, and sustainable growth. And this is the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, BETP. BETP will accelerate Botswana's transition into a high-income economy with per capita income of 200,000 pula by 2036.
President of the Republic of India, Droupadi Murmu, continued her historic state visit to Botswana. The visit is aimed at strengthening bilateral ties between the two nations. The two heads of state held official talks at the office of the president, focusing on cooperation in health, education, agriculture, mining, trade and investment. President Murmu reaffirmed India's commitment to supporting Botswana's healthcare sector.
His Excellency, President Boko, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. I am truly delighted to be in this beautiful country at the invitation of His Excellency, the President of Botswana. I thank President Boko as well as the government and people of the Republic of Botswana for the warm welcome extended to me and my delegation, which includes our Minister of State, Sri B. Samanna, as well as two members of Parliament, Sri P. Basawa and Srimati D.K. Aruna. My visit marks an important milestone for our bilateral relations, as it is the first ever presidential visit from India to Botswana. It also assumes significance in view of the approaching 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between our two countries in 2026. This morning, I had a very productive meeting with President Boko, followed by fruitful delegation level talks. Our discussions covered the full range of bilateral, regional, and global issues of mutual interest. We reaffirmed the deep and friendly ties between India and Botswana, founded on shared democratic values and mutual respect. We agreed to expand cooperation in key sectors, including trade and investment, agriculture, renewable energy, health, education, skill development, defense, and digital technology. We witnessed the signing of an important agreement which will help in providing easy access of good quality and affordable Indian medicines to the citizens of Botswana. I also conveyed to President Boko India's decision to send essential ARV medicines as requested by government of Botswana.
President Duma Boko emphasized the importance of deepening collaboration with India, particularly in areas of technology transfer, skills development, and renewable energy. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1996, Botswana and India have enjoyed a fruitful partnership. This visit marks another milestone in our long-standing cooperation.
Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of India, for graciously agreeing to visit Botswana and undertake this historic visit. It is historic because it is the first time in our 60 years of friendship and partnership that Botswana is hosting a head of state from India.
The Indian president later toured the diamond trading company Botswana, DTCB, where she was given a first-hand look at Botswana's world-renowned diamond industry and its contribution to national development.
India has invested heavily in training, rigorous preparation of its learners. And it comes as no surprise then that in most tech companies across the world, you find Indian expertise. We wish for that expertise to find its way here as these Indian inventors and innovators internalize their inventions and skills in Botswana so that they operate from here. They share and transmit those skills to us as well. We are humbled by the generous offer by Her Excellency of ARV medication to Botswana, which will reach us soon. We also applaud the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on Pharmacopoeia Cooperation, which will facilitate ease of access and affordability to quality medicines from India. We are most grateful for this because it will solve a persistent problem in our healthcare, and we trust that the cooperation, the collaboration, the affinity between Botswana and India will grow from strength to strength. We've also made our modest contribution. We've given India 8 cheetahs which we will hand over to Her Excellency tomorrow morning.
The Indian president later toured the diamond trading company Botswana, DTCB, where she was given a first-hand look at Botswana's world-renowned diamond industry and its contribution to national development. BOPEU President Mr. Martin Khabubake outlined the union's roadmap, emphasizing 5 key thematic areas guiding their work during the current administration. Mr. Khabubake said that the union remains committed to amplifying the voice of workers across Botswana, adding that BOPEU's leadership is determined to enhance transparency, efficiency, and accountability in the organization's operations, aligning with its broader vision of empowering public sector employees.
Kya ho imisa gore goromente re mutwe through Minister of Finance, called budget speech in February. I don't know whether it's paragraph 44 or paragraph 92. I pronounce gore ba adjust that tax table, by increase income tax at the top earners by 1.5%. And we did very much well, Morione. Let's step in because the income tax table, it doesn't only affect members of BOPEU. It cuts across the economy. Oragor mutobera can go chopis. You are magalam 14,000. How gets a waka 1.5%? Le mutobera can public service. Obama Botswana. So renaraya magarina raichupa or no minister. You cannot pronounce adjustment of tax table. What's that amount through the tripartite and social structure engagement? That is employers, government, and trade unions. Of course, Rona, as a trade union, we engage with government at the tripartite through our federation, BFTU. But BFTU gets pointers from its affiliates like BOPEU. Will be able to stand how we work at with our expertise because we are diverse trade union and multi-skilled. We can assist how can we give a proper response to and that a holder back or adjust the tax table. Amendment there tax because it looks like the income tax or the VAT tax. It's coming in a sort of consolidation. We will go through it. That consolidation. Does it impact some things? Income we are about to at personal level. Just the VAT arrangements. Mineral standard, and we will do so. We will stand because we are part of the civic society. Of recent, Rekopane Lebabo Congo. They brought a statement. Constitutional and as workers.
On his part, BOPEU Vice President Mr. Nzimu Alusi shared updates on the ongoing salary negotiations. He revealed that the union has spent the past 6 months engaging relevant stakeholders over salary grievances, but has yet to achieve the desired outcomes.
We wanted an inflationary adjustment of 3%. To cushion up salaries from inflation, to cushion up our people, our members from bank or loans inflation, to cushion up our people from rise of prices from commodities in any way you can ever think of. We also wanted 17% of adjustment of allowances which are not attached to salaries. We wanted 4,000 pula basic wage floor as a basic salary. I'll already emphasize a bit on it. We wanted 2% restoration, not differentials. But as you are aware, we only walked away from the negotiations room after 6 months with 400 pula as an allowance from C scale to D1. And we were given 651 pula or 652 pula for A scale as an adjustment to the housing and upkeep allowance. So long and short of it, achieve after 6 months, like I said. You see, the 4,000 basic wage floor, this is where we need to deal with very much in particular. 4,000 wage floor, we wanted a 4,000 pula wage as a basic salary, like I said. The 4,000 pula would give an employee an opportunity to access a loan. It would also allow an employee to access facilities like Genvas, facilities like Bono, and other facilities like loans and other social safety nets. Those are some of the things which we worked out. I mean, we went into the negotiation room as a demand before the employer. And of course, willing to negotiate in order to reach an amicable solution.
The Acting Minister of Lands and Agriculture, Honorable Dr. Edwin Dikoloti, has hailed the launch of CEDA's A-Di-Tsale financial product suite as a milestone in Botswana's agricultural transformation. Speaking at the cattle expansion product launch, Dr. Dikoloti said the initiative marks a new era of smart financing and innovation to rebuild the national herd, modernizing farming, and boost the sector's contribution to the economy. He commended CEDA, development partners and farmers for creating solutions aligned with Vision 2036 and the Botswana's economic transformation program. The minister added that the A-Di-Tsale suite tackles key challenges such as drought, feed shortages, and limited access to finance while empowering youth and women.
To take a bold action, to rebuild and grow our national herd to 5 million cattle, and to restore the vitality of our rangelands, and to increase the agri contribution to at least 6% of our GDP. Following that pronouncement, the Ministry of Lands and Agriculture launched A-Di-Tsale in October, a comprehensive initiative focused on strengthening the beef value chain through farmer bull testing, estrus synchronization, pregnancy diagnosis, improved husbandry, and quality assurance. The program aims to elevate productivity at farm level and restore the foundations of our national herd. The A-Di-Tsale financing product suite is not merely a funding product. It is one of the most strategic levers to deliver that national mandate. Its support for artificial insemination, to embryo transfer, to fodder production, to dairy expansion, to communal agric parks, and scaled-up beef production in Tokumo places us on a firm path towards achieving that vision.
Still on the A-Di-Tsale launch, the acting CEDA CEO Kalala Mofkefani said the launch of the A-Di-Tsale product, the country was moving into a transformational era. He added that Botswana cattle connect the past with the future and said that this was the answer to the call to take the national herd to 5 million cattle in the country, adding that agriculture should contribute about 6% of the GDP in the next 5 years.
Mr. President, Advocate Duma Boko grounded our nation's direction in the theme, the steady path, delivering our promise one step at a time. He reminded us through a powerful metaphor, Rome was not built in a day, but hour by hour, they laid each interlocking brick. Ladies and gentlemen, today we lay another interlocking brick, a brick that strengthens food security, rural incomes, export competitiveness, and inclusive growth. The President issued a national call to rebuild and grow the cattle herd to 5 million by 2030, and to restore agriculture as a vibrant, modern, and technologically enabled sector. This launch is a direct response to that call. Botswana's cattle herd once stood at 3 million heads, but decades of drought, disease outbreak, poor genetics, and fragmented value chains have reduced it to between 1.6 and 1.7 million.
On our international news, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has sacked one of his 5 vice presidents in a series of firings that come amidst escalating internal conflict. Benjamin Bolmel was appointed in February and has been widely rumored to be Kiir's private successor. The powerful vice president was also stripped of his position as deputy leader of the ruling Sudan's People's Liberation Movement, SPLM party, and was demoted from general to private in the National Security Service.
South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has sacked one of his 5 vice presidents in a series of firings that come amid escalating internal conflict. Benjamin Bolmel was appointed in February and had been widely rumoured to be Kiir's preferred successor. The powerful vice president was also stripped of his position as deputy leader of the ruling Sudan People's Liberation Movement party and demoted from general to private in the National Security Service. No reason was given and no successor has been named. President Kiir also fired the governor of the central bank and the head of the revenue authority, both seen as close to Bolmel. These latest changes in the upper ranks of South Sudan's government come at a time when questions are being asked about Kiir's succession amid fears of a return to civil war. Planned elections have been postponed twice, and Keir's main rival during the civil war, First Vice President Riek Machar, was arrested in March and then charged with treason. Fighting between forces loyal to Keir and various armed groups has escalated in recent months. South Sudan is one of few countries to have 5 vice presidents, a structure established under a 2018 peace agreement.
At least 6 people lost their lives in a tragic crowd crashing during a military recruitment exercise at Accra El Wak Sports Stadium in Ghana. The stampede occurred early Wednesday morning before the event officially began, triggered by a sudden surge of applicants who overwhelmed security and rushed through the stadium gates. Thousands of young Ghanaians, amid a youth unemployment rate of around 13%, had gathered hoping to secure a spot in the Ghana Armed Forces. That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching Lesedi Television News. Good night.